all your questions that you have about eBay and Amazon dropshipping. So thanks to everyone who's here live in the live chat, such as Rich and Fat Elvis. But if you guys are watching this on replay, don't worry, just leave a comment underneath any of my videos and I'll answer them during my next live Q&A. And also consider subscribing to the channel so that you can join us during the next live and hit that little bell notification so you get an alert when it happens. So I got a bunch of questions saved up from the week that I'm very eager to answer for you guys. So what's up, Lazy Abram? What's up, Thrift Store Gold in the house? Go check out their YouTube channel after you watch this video right now. Okay, so first question I have is, can I dropship from eBay? How's the audio? I feel like it's really, really loud for some reason. Let me know in the chat. Can I dropship from eBay to eBay on the same platform? You shouldn't do that, because when you dropship from eBay to eBay, anytime you upload a tracking number to eBay, you can only use that tracking number once anywhere on eBay. So the person you're buying from will give you that tracking number, and then you won't be able to use that same tracking number for yours. So don't do that. Do not drop ship from eBay to eBay. Okay. Audio is good. Thanks, guys. All right. We have this question from Hashem. It says, thank you, Paul. I wish you talked about bookkeeping someday. How do you keep track of cost of goods sold for tax report? Do you use any software like GoDaddy, QuickBooks, or any other software? Appreciate you. So bookkeeping is not my strength. I'm going to have someone on here eventually to talk about it. And it's not something I've ever been good yet, actually. So I'm going to have someone on. So what I've done before is I've used GoDaddy bookkeeping. It's designed for e-commerce sellers, but it's I found it to be a little bit too much. There's almost too much data that it pulls in. So I stopped using that one, started using QuickBooks, which is pretty conventional for a lot of CPAs that you use. So it's very user friendly for CPAs. So if that's what you're using, then they're going to know how to use it. What was the second part I was going to say about that? Yeah, but there's other software that I'm looking at right now that's specifically designed for eBay sellers to help us with our profit and to calculate our profit. And once I fully test that and see if it works, I'll show you guys what that is. So Rich is saying there's a little, sounds like the AC's on. That's because it is. So if you hear that noise. Oh, and thanks for the $1.99 super chat. Really appreciate that. You sending that. Andrew says, do you have a bookkeeper or tax professional? I do, and I really hope I can get her on the channel. I just started using her. So, and she's an expert when it comes to eBay sellers. So I'd be very happy to have her on if she's willing to do that. I know she's done interviews like that in the past. Okay, so another question. Okay, so I made a video recently talking about all the suppliers that I use, and I mentioned some of the suppliers have coupons, such as Lowe's. So Bewick here says, are there any coupons and discounts for Home Depot like there is for Lowe's? Now, you can get discounted gift cards for Home Depot. As far as coupons, not really. There are some coupons you can get, but most of them can only be used in store, and obviously you want to use them online. So you can get them sometimes. Sometimes they run promos and you can find these promo codes. Rarely happens. Other times what they'll do is, if there's problems with your order on Home Depot, they'll actually email you a like 10% off code. It's happened to me like twice in one day once, and then it never really happened again. So it can happen, but it's pretty rare for Home Depot online. And Adam wants to know if I'm still using promoted listings in my eBay stores, and I am still using promoted listings. I generally do about a 1% to 2% flat. Promoted listings, I know promoted listings will say what the going rate is. So basically they'll say, hey, the going rate's like 5%, 6%. I don't do that. I just do flat 1%. Any more than that just cuts into my margins too much, and I don't want that. Let's see. What's up, Cycle? Thanks for being here. So is drop shipping from basically China good? I don't personally do it. I've made videos about it and how you would start doing that, but I don't do it because I don't like the long handling times, long shipping times from China. It's just a different model. It definitely does work. I know people who are doing it. It's just a little bit different because you gotta set the expectation right up front that the customers, it's going to take them longer to get the items. What software do I use to keep track of my inventory? Do you mean like my repricing software? For that, I use SkewGrid right now. So shipping info says, hey Paul, can you talk about shipping to multiple addresses on Home Depot? It seems like they don't allow you to do it for resellers. So let me give a little backstory to this. So previously, Home Depot let you put as many items into one order as you wanted, and you could ship all of them to different addresses. And the benefit to this was that you could have 5 items that were $10 each and put them into one order. Your order was now $50, which qualifies for free shipping, and you could ship them to different addresses. Then they reduced it. It was only about 9 that you could do, and now they've reduced it to 2. So you can put up to 2 items in one order and ship them to different addresses. So as long as the items are $22.50 each, put them into one order, that equals $45. You qualify for free shipping and ship them to different addresses. So that's the way it currently works. As far as I know, that applies across the board and not just to resellers. So you just got to adjust your margins. Any items that are over $45, you're going to get free shipping on. Anything under that, you have to add in shipping costs to them, basically, in order to make up for that, or half the shipping costs for those to make up for it. I primarily focus on items over $45 anyway, so it's not a huge issue for me. But that was a recent change that they made that we kind of saw coming because they were slowly moving towards that anyway. Yeah, so Jamie says, is the EIN number the same as the FEIN number? Yes, they are. It asks for, I don't know what SEIN is, but EIN is, actually I forget what it stands for, Employment Identification Number. FEIN is Federal Employment Identification Number. It's the same thing. Let's see. Okay, so where's this good question here? Nick says, hey Paul, what's your opinion on selling on a flagged eBay account? After ending 3,000 listings, I'm relisting new items. However, my impressions or views are just dreadful. So if you're listing on a flagged account, you really need to find other ways to get your items in front of customers and be competitive. And the only way I've seen flagged accounts work is where you are able to greatly reduce the price of your items by making money through back-end processes, like getting heavily discounted gift cards. And that's really the game that you'd be playing there with a flagged account. Okay. Let's see. Next question I had was this one. So like with the Lowe's orders, when you're using a coupon, or for any other supplier when you use a coupon, will it show on the receipt? Will the buyer be able to tell that you received a discount? Sometimes they can. With Lowe's, they can. With some other suppliers, they won't be able to see that. Like with Amazon, if you do a gift receipt, they're not going to be able to see any price, for instance. But with Lowe's, they definitely can. So Rich, I'm not sure I fully understand your question, but it says, I opened my first store. I have a limit of 1,000 items, $25,000. I'm tax exempt at Home Depot, but I can only put about 600 to 700 into paying for orders. It sounds like that's all the money you have available to you. So my tip would be to, if it makes sense for you, get a credit card. And with a credit card, you're going to get at least 1,500 limit. I've never really seen anything lower than that, hopefully higher than that. And that will increase your buying power and allow you to fulfill more orders so you can get more items moving through your store. Do you have a list of software that I should be using? Says Chris. So Chris, there's a lot of software that you could use for your eBay or Amazon dropshipping business. What I'll say though is that some people get overwhelmed by this, or they think they need every software that's out there, or even all the software that I use. And I think most new sellers don't need all the software that I use. I think there's really only one that I would really get as a new dropshipper, and that's whatever you use to list, more specifically to reprice your items. Usually it's the same software. That I think is the only one you really need, and the one that I use right now is SkewGrid, and it's about $15 a month to get started with that. There's a bunch of others I use that at the level that I'm doing I think is really necessary for my business, but I don't think it's necessary for new sellers. So those would be things like Spot and Paste, which allows you to quickly copy addresses from eBay and paste them onto your supplier's website. It saves you a ton of time. That one's also really cheap, so I think it's one of the first ones you should start to use after SkewGrid. The other ones that I use are TrackerBot, which quickly uploads tracking numbers for me from my email onto eBay, which saves me a ton of time, or I don't have to pay my virtual assistants to do it, which saves me a ton of money. We use some to help us with our messages, which most people don't need. If you have only one virtual assistant doing your messages, they can just go onto eBay and go into the messages and answer them there. Because I have two, and sometimes I do a couple of messages, it kind of helps to have our own CRM, it's called, to manage all those messages. What else? What other software could you use? Product research, we use Zeek Analytics, with ZIK Analytics, and that one, again, you don't need it when you start out. It's definitely powerful, it definitely helps, but as a new seller, you wouldn't need that one as well. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but those are the main ones that I can remember off the top of my head. Okay. Let's see, another question I had from this week. Solo says, can I use a Chromebook for eBay dropshipping and still be able to do everything? Yep, Chromebook's fine. Everything's done online, so you don't need to really do anything fancy here. It's all done online, so a Chromebook is more than fine. Okay, so I was talking about on Overstock, now you can get coupons for Overstock as well. And if you're not tax exempt, Carlos wants to know, if you're not tax exempt on Overstock, will coupons make up for that? And yeah, they do, because Overstock gives you really big discounts. If you sign up for their newsletter, you'll regularly get like 12% off coupons. Every time you make an order, pretty much every time, they'll email you another coupon that you can use on your next order. So really helpful in that way with all those coupons, and that more than covers the average 7% sales tax that you're going to pay. Fat Elvis says, how often are you watching your inventory so you don't get in trouble? Well, we have software that does that. SkewGrid does that for us, if that's what you mean. But, my virtual assistants are logging in every day. I'm logging in every few days. And we always look at the store. We always see what's going on. We look at the metrics, make sure everything's up to par and everything's good in the store. And then SkewGrid's taking care of the repricing for us, so there's no issues with that. Okay, so I'm going to answer this question about what's manual eBay dropshipping. And Best Zaki asked this question. So the term manual eBay dropshipping, there's kind of a divide here because it means two different things. What it really means, manual, means you use no software at all. So you wouldn't use any software to list, any software to reprice, and none of the other softwares that I mentioned before. Nothing. Zero. But people have used this term manual kind of incorrectly to mean dropshipping a different way that uses different kinds of software. So if you use SkewGrid and you use Spot and Paste, they consider those manual softwares. So a manual eBay store is one that uses Zeek Analytics, and one, you could also use Spot and Paste with that as well, and there's a couple others that are coming out. They use a different kind of software. So when most people are talking about manual dropshipping, that's what they're talking about. They're still using software, but they're using different software, which right now is SkewGrid, because Spot and Paste as well. But it is totally possible to run one of these manual dropshipping stores with this software. So Home Depot made this change, which is a shame, but we had to have seen it coming. I mean, Walmart's only allowed us to ship to one address. Most suppliers, Lowe's changed recently as well. Earlier this year, they used to allow shipping to multiple addresses. They don't anymore. Home Depot, they still allow us to ship to two, which is pretty good. But the thing is, here's what you got to remember. Everyone is facing the same thing. So anyone who is drop shipping from Home Depot to eBay, they all have to make this change. They all have to adjust their prices to make up for the fact that Home Depot won't let us ship to more than two addresses per order. So with that in mind, it shouldn't have a huge impact on how competitive you can be on eBay, because everyone has to adjust their prices for this change. So Kimchi Mod says, how should I increase my listing limits? My selling limits, they say. So every time you start on eBay limits the number of items that you can list up for sale and that you can sell per month. These are your limits. So every month you want to call up eBay at the end of the month and let them know or ask them to raise your limits. And if you're selling items, if you're listing items, they should raise your limits. And if you're doing well enough, they'll double your limits every time that you call. So that's all you have to do. You have to call, I suggest, the end of the month. And I've always found the customer service on Saturday mornings to be better. I think it's Ireland when you call on Saturday mornings. They just seem to be a little bit more friendlier. So I would give them a call then. And I've never had a problem getting my limits doubled. So M says, I've heard of people who will create an automated dropshipping business for you for $20 If I sign up for your Amazon dropshipping course, will I get the same knowledge as those who do it all for you? So you will not get the same knowledge because they don't give you any knowledge when you sign up for the $20,000 program. They're claiming that they're going to do it all for you for 20 grand. I've never signed up for one. I can't vouch for any of them. I can't say whether it's a good idea to do it because I'm not going to pay someone $20,000 to set up my Amazon store for me. You know, the things that they're doing is the same things that I'm teaching here on YouTube and inside my Amazon course. It's no different. The difference is that I'm giving you the knowledge so that you can start your own business yourself without paying the $20,000 up front, whereas these people are taking $20,000 from you and usually a big percentage of the profit that you make before they give you any profit out of that. So I don't know too much about it other than that it costs a lot of money to do it. Antonio says, what about taxes? How do they work in this business? If you're talking about income tax, it's just the same way it works for any way you make money. You have to pay your income tax if you're a United States citizen. They want their cut of it. So make sure that you pay it. You have to keep track of how much profit you're making. Your government only cares about the profit you make, not the sales. So you might do $1 million in sales, but you don't want to get taxed on $1 million in sales when you have cost of goods. Maybe you only made 100 grand out of that, or 150. Well, you're only going to get taxed on 100 grand or 150, not the full million. That's why it's important to do accurate bookkeeping so that you don't overpay for your taxes. Whoa, what's up? Thanks, man. Really appreciate that. Didn't even ask a question. Appreciate that, man. Okay, so Jamie Lee says, hey, Paul, for Amazon dropshipping, do you use mainstream American suppliers like Walmart, Home Depot, like you're able to on eBay, or is there any other ways, alternatives? Thanks. So yeah, that's the model I use. I dropship from Walmart, Home Depot primarily, and that's what I do on Amazon. But there's definitely other ways to do it. You can connect with suppliers here in the United States, wholesale suppliers, and do it that way. That's one way of doing it. And yeah, that's pretty much, if you're going to be drop shipping, those are the two ways to do it. Or I guess you could also drop ship from overseas as well. Anna says, how can we open a lot of eBay accounts? First question, why would you want to open a lot of eBay accounts? I would just open one and focus on that till it does well, and then maybe open another one. But if you're going to open up multiple, you're allowed to do that. And but if you're trying to keep them separate so eBay doesn't know it's you on each of the different accounts, then you'll want to open up stealth accounts. That's what you'll want to do. Stealth accounts are like accounts where eBay doesn't know it's you, and the way you do that is by creating a different name, a different address. Usually use a family member, spouse's or girlfriend, boyfriend's name and address, and different bank account information. Well, not bank account, but different PayPal email address. All that has to be different so they don't link you up at all. And that's the way that you would do that. Yeah, so yeah, I would speak to a CPA if you're worried about income tax. Rich has asked me this question, and I feel like, Rich, you know the answer, but I'll answer for you anyway. Rich says, hey Paul, how does sales tax work? How do you collect it and when? Is there a service that can track it for you? So sales tax is when you buy an item on your supplier's website, and this is more of an example. You buy an item, let's say on Walmart, and it's $10, but they charge you an extra like $1.25 for tax. That's sales tax. It's different than income tax. This is sales tax. Sales tax applies when you purchase the item. Now, as a seller on eBay, on Amazon, sometimes you also have to charge your buyers sales tax. Now, the state that you live in, so when I first started selling, I was living in New York. I had to start collecting sales tax for New York. That was the first state because I lived there. Now you also have to collect sales tax in any states that you sell a lot of items into that state. And each state has a different amount that they require you to start collecting for. So one state might say, hey, once you start doing $100,000 worth of sales into our state, start collecting sales tax for us. Other states might be much lower, others much higher. Point is, each state's going to want it eventually. So the best way to keep track of this is by using a different software called TaxJar. And TaxJar is great because it links up with your PayPal account, it links up with your eBay account. It's able to track all the orders and where the orders are being shipped to. If it sees, hey, you just shipped like $100,000 worth of items into, let's say I'm making this up, Indiana, and Indiana now wants you to start collecting sales tax, TaxJar will tell you that so you can start doing it. And it kind of guides you through the whole process of getting set up with all those sales tax forms and start collecting them. Then what you do is you can let eBay know, let Amazon know that you have to start collecting those sales tax, and you start collecting it. Once you collect it, it's not your money. That's not your money. It's the state's money. Once you collect it, you then send it to the state whenever they want you to. Either it's monthly, quarterly, yearly. I know that sounds like a lot. I know it can sound scary, but once you start using TaxJar, it's super easy to handle. And more, eBay and Amazon are taking care of this for us. So eventually, we won't even have to worry about this. I don't know the exact number of states that they are collecting for us right now because it just went up by a bunch. But it's just making our lives so much easier and cheaper because now they are collecting the sales tax for us, sending it to the states, and we don't have to worry about it at all. Oh, thank you for this because I forgot about that. Imperial Dropship says, if you sell more than $20,000 worth of sales on eBay in a year, you'll get a 1099 from eBay. I thought it was from PayPal. And I thought it was actually less than that. But regardless, you're going to get a 1099K. Rich says, do not pay for done for you subscriptions. That's Rich's opinion. Okay, so Heather says, do I have to buy the product first, ship it to Amazon for the FBA program, and once someone buys it, then I get the profit? So that's FBA. I teach dropshipping, which is different. Most people don't know that you can dropship on Amazon. It's different. So with FBA, it's exactly the way you described it. You buy the item, ship it to Amazon. Once it sells, Amazon ships out the item, then you get your money. With dropshipping, I list an item up for sale. I don't send anything to Amazon. Once it sells, then I purchase it. I ship it directly to the customer and not to Amazon. And then, and before that, I get my money. Well, once Amazon releases the money to me, I make my money. So I don't send it to Amazon first with dropshipping. It's a little bit of a different model. Okay. Okay. Will says, hey Paul, your Lowe's course is great. Glad you're liking it. Thank you. Let's see some more questions from this week. Is that the next one? Yep. Okay, this is from Drew Blanche. Paul, I have a silly question. I sold an item recently on eBay, but when I went to add it to my cart, Amazon added $30+ in tax, and it put me in the red, taking all the profit away, so I had to cancel the order. Is there a calculator or something so I can account for this beforehand? So what you want to do is, as much as possible, become tax exempt, sales tax exempt. On Amazon, you can become sales tax exempt. So remember how I was talking about how you have to collect sales tax? Well, you don't have to pay sales tax in certain circumstances if you are collecting sales tax. Basically is the way it works. So when you purchase these items on Amazon, if you're sales tax exempt in all the states, you won't have to pay Amazon any sales tax when you're purchasing from them, if you set it up for every state. So that's the first thing I would recommend that you try to do. The other thing, if you're not going to go that way, is to build that into your margins. Ideally, about 7% is my recommendation, is about an average, because each state's different. Some states have no sales tax, some have high sales tax. 7's a good average. If you become sales tax exempt for some states, you can lower that, maybe 5%, and that will, offset the cost of when you do have to pay sales tax. Best person. What? I don't know anything about that. Somebody's asking about top-rated seller for dropshippers, but top-rated seller doesn't matter for dropshippers. It's never applied to us really, because the benefits only come when you get top-rated seller plus, and it's impossible to get top-rated seller plus as a dropshipper. Just inherently not really possible. So Jamie says, in worst case scenario, if your account gets banned on eBay due to not running a store properly, how hard is it to create a new eBay account and start from scratch? So this is one of the beautiful things about eBay, is that it's pretty easy to start a new account. A lot of times when they shut down an account, they just shut down the one account. They don't shut you down as a seller. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they'll tell you, you can never sell on eBay ever again. But usually what they do is they just shut down one store. And what you can do is start a new store. And surprisingly, you can just do that and it works. Now, if they shut down you as a seller, you can still start a new store. That's what's called a stealth account, which I mentioned before. It's not terribly hard to do, surprisingly. And this is one of the benefits of eBay over Amazon. With Amazon, it's a bit harder to start new stores. They actually don't want you to start more than one store. And to start a stealth Amazon store is I would say, harder on Amazon than eBay. So that's definitely one of the eBay benefits. So Rich just trying to help the newbies. So I knew that was a kind of a loaded question. Thank you for the $2 super chat. You guys are just like, I appreciate this, guys. I'm gonna have to buy some toys for my doggy. Wow, Larry, I really appreciate this. I've never made this kind of money ever, and owe it all to you, Paul. Thank you, Larry. I really appreciate that. I appreciate you coming into the chat and letting me know that. Okay. Well, thanks, Anderson, for the $5. I really appreciate that. And you have a question. What is a good profit formula for SkewGrid? I have mine set to 10%, but I feel like this might be too high. Some say price isn't important. Thank you. So I'm not entirely sure from your question whether you're just doing, you must be doing, okay. So on SkewGrid, you're allowed to put in all these different percentages. So you'll put a percentage in to cover your eBay fees, to cover your PayPal fees, put in a percentage to cover sales tax if you're still paying sales tax. You want to make sure all those are right first. So PayPal generally charges 2.9% plus 30 cents, and there's a field in there to enter in 30 cents. The eBay charges 9.15% if you have an eBay store subscription, so make sure that's right. Sales tax, again, 7% if you're not tax exempt, 0 to 5% depending on how tax exempt you are. That's just like break even. You put those numbers in, you're break even. But as for the profit percentage, 10% is high. I would not use 10%. I would drop it down to 5% and start from there. You can go up or down from there. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but you're going to make money other ways, with some discounts, with some coupons, with some discounted gift cards, with cashback credit cards, cashback websites. All those things add up, they pile up, and can get you back over that 10% mark if you do it right. But yeah, 10% on the front end is high, and price isn't the most important thing, isn't the end all be all, but it is definitely important. Okay. Let's see. Okay. See another question I had from this week. That one. Oh, I want to give a couple of shout outs. This is one of my students left me this incredible review. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it says, I followed his instructions to a T, and I'm making the money I want with the freedom to work at home. So this is extremely knowledgeable, and he has a wonderful, supportive community. So that's why I want to give this a shout out, because thank you for this comment. I really, really appreciate it. And just hearing that you've achieved freedom, you can work from home, and that you're getting value out of the community that I've built for all the members of my course that we built. That's been the most rewarding part about everything that I do, getting comments like that. So thank you. Also, shout out to Wafy saying, thanks for everything you do, Paul. Dropshipping has completely changed my life. I wake up every morning to more money than I can spend. It's all because of you. Never would have went in as deep as I am now if I hadn't watched the video series. It's real, people. It just takes a lot of hard work and time to get the ball rolling. And I wanted to highlight that comment because you're right. It does take hard work. It does take time to get the ball rolling. But in our experience, my experience, Wafy's experience, this student's experience, Larry's experience, it's worth it. If you put in that time and you're willing to make some sacrifice and put in the hard work to get the ball rolling, I definitely think that it's worth it. It's worked for all of us. And I want to give one final shout out to Cycle J. Burnell. Looks like he's a virtual assistant looking for some work. I don't need any more virtual assistants right now, but he knows about dropshipping, product listing, dropshipping tools like all these dropshipping tools and Zeek Analytics. I don't have any work for him, but if you guys do, get in contact with him, interview him, see if he's a good fit for you. I haven't talked to him directly. I've never worked with him, but I wanted to give him a quick shout out. Now, I've answered this one before. So SkewFetch. So when you sign up for SkewGrid, you're going to get access to SkewFetch, which allows you to quickly list items onto eBay. Is SkewFetch, does it also work for Amazon? No, it doesn't. You won't be able to list items onto Amazon, but SkewGrid does work with Amazon. You can use SkewGrid with Amazon to reprice your items, just not SkewFetch, which lists the items. Most people use Walmart to dropship onto Amazon. That's the best one. That's the one that works the best for me. I also use Home Depot, but you can use a lot of different things. You can try different websites. I see people using Overstock, Wayfair as well, and what's the one? Harbor Freight Tools. But there's a lot you can use. Boom, happy Friday. Happy Friday to you guys as well. So Daniel, sorry for the confusion about the Lowe's course. So that's a course that I only opened up to members of my eBay course. Right now, I don't really feel comfortable recommending Lowe's for Amazon, and there's a couple reasons for that. But generally, I think Lowe's is better suited for drop shipping onto eBay. So I've only opened it up and actually designed the course around teaching students how to drop ship from Lowe's to eBay. So I only opened it to members of my eBay course. I haven't opened it up publicly, and I don't really plan to. I wanted to see more of my students get the benefit of drop shipping from Lowe's and kind of give them that advantage. So I only opened it up to those students, and until now I haven't really even publicly announced it. Okay. I had to cancel my first order, which was dropship from Home Depot, because they wouldn't deliver to Puerto Rico, PR, even though they have a store. What did I do wrong? So they don't ship there. Most suppliers won't ship to Puerto Rico, or they won't do it for free. I don't know why. It's part of the United States. It's practically a state, but not quite. I guess it's kind of far away, but so is Alaska. But a lot of people won't ship to Alaska either. And it's really not that far away. But they won't do it. So you got to exclude that from your shipping policies. Exclude Hawaii, exclude Alaska, exclude Puerto Rico. Exclude Guam. Aw. Thanks, Michaela's mom. Well, welcome, Barney, to the Dropshipping Titans course. Really glad to have you. Good question from Heather. I've answered it before, but I haven't answered it in a while. If you send the product right to the customer from Walmart, wouldn't it be in a Walmart box? Don't you get in trouble or have a customer ask you about this? So it probably will be in a Walmart box, but I actually made a really good video about this where I ordered a bunch of stuff from Walmart, from Amazon, from Home Depot, had it delivered to my home, and we looked at what box it came in, what was included in the box, things like that, and just kind of try to put my mind in the mind of or myself in the shoes of a buyer who received that, even though they bought the item from Amazon. So with the case of the Walmart item, it came in a Walmart box, but inside the box was no receipt, no invoice at all inside the box. So, and we've had no customers complain that the item came from Walmart. And my theory is that they get the box, nothing is inside that says it's from Walmart, and the outside says Walmart, but I think most people just assume that we bought a bunch of boxes from Walmart and use those to ship the items. And you see this from anyone who sells on eBay or Amazon, primarily see this on when people sell from eBay, because when people sell from eBay, they ship from home to the customer. They need a box to ship it in, right? So they go out to Home Depot, buy a bunch of boxes. They go to Walmart, buy a bunch of boxes, or go to a FedEx store and buy a bunch of boxes, whatever it is, and that's what they ship the item in. So I think people just kind of expect that and get used to that, and that's why they don't think that the item came directly from Walmart. Let's see. Dropshipping Titans for life. Okay. So Jamie says, how do you work with competition on eBay when others can undercut you? It's a race to the bottom with prices. Other dropshippers can easily see what's selling and replicate your listings. So here's the thing. Yes, that is true. But if you're constantly adding items to your store, that's really what the process is about. Constantly adding items and keeping a process in place. And the truth is that somebody's going to sell an item. That item is then going to be out of stock for them, and then you're going to be in stock, and then you can sell the item. then you'll be out of stock, and then they'll be in stock, and then they can sell the item. And that's just, there's more than enough room for everyone to sell in this market. Not everyone, all of us that are interested in it to sell in that way. And same thing with Amazon. In Amazon, it's even tougher because every item has one listing. So you can see all the prices that people are selling it for on one listing. And the weird thing is, people will still buy from you even if you're not the lowest. And I don't know why that is, but they just do. So that's just something you want to keep in mind as well. All these things get rotated. You get rotated into the buy box on Amazon, even if you're not the lowest seller. Cool. Yes, you're right. Sometimes they do put the receipt in the box. Yeah, you're right about that. Sometimes Walmart does, but increasingly we found that they don't. William says, what are your margins and how do you change it per supplier? Walmart. Oh, how do you change for each different supplier? So like if you want one margin from Walmart, one margin for items that you're drop shipping from Amazon, one margin for when you're drop shipping from Home Depot, I think is what you mean. So in that scenario, if you're using, this is one of the great benefits about using a repricing software, is that you can sort by supplier, or rather go into your settings and mark for Home Depot, I want this margin. For Amazon, I want this margin. Or any items that are being drop shipped from Home Depot, I want this margin. And then it just automatically does it for you. You don't have to manually change or manually find all the listings that were Home Depot and change those ones, all the ones that were Walmart and change those ones. It's just done in a matter of minutes. Okay. All right, did I answer all the questions? Yeah, looks like I did. Somebody said, welcome back. I just got back from vacation. I was traveling through the Galapagos, and I will be hopefully making a little like travel video about that. It was a lot of fun. I don't have all the pictures. I have this one. That's when I went surfing, which was a lot of fun. Yeah, we rented these surfboards. They kind of just threw us in the back of a truck, and then no, they didn't throw us. We went willingly into a back of a truck, and then went off this beautiful beach right at sunset. It was absolutely gorgeous, and went surfing. But we also saw a lot of incredible animals down there. Hammerhead sharks we were diving with, huge manta rays the size of like a bus. I'm not even kidding. What else did we see? We saw lava lizards, which were like the size of my dog. I have a small dog, but still size of a dog. These birds called blue-footed boobies. What else did we see? Oh, lots of sea lions. We got to swim with sea lions. We were snorkeling with them, scuba diving with them. It was incredible. I can't wait to share some of the footage with you guys. So if you want to see that, I know it has nothing to do with dropshipping, but be sure to subscribe to the channel, and I'll be releasing that hopefully by the end of the month. There's a lot of footage I made. Cool. Can you boost your sales with Facebook ads? I mean, Facebook ads work. The problem with them is that they can get expensive very quickly, and that cuts into your margins. I personally wouldn't do it for this model of dropshipping. If you had really high margins, then I would consider it. Yeah. But it's like that's a whole nother game for you to play. To learn how to do Facebook ads correctly, it's not, I mean, the basics of it are easy, but really getting into it and learning how they work and targeting the right people, it's a process. I mean, it requires you to learn some more advanced stuff, and you're going to be doing that on top of your drop shipping. Just another thing, and I think your time is better spent focusing on what's already working and doing more of it. should try skydiving. I've been skydiving 3 times. I went all 3 times in one day. That's how much fun I was having. And then I was gonna do it by myself, like without tandem, but then I stopped. My brother does a lot of skydiving. He goes all over the world, does it all the time. But I don't do it. Okay, so I made a video about this, about turning your store on vacation mode, and I'll be doing another update video about it soon. I made a video before I went away on vacation. For the most part, my stores are automated, so my virtual assistants are running my stores without me. I had one that I did turn on vacation mode because I discussed in that video how the virtual assistant cut back on her hours because she was getting a little sick, so I was covering her work for her, which was a mistake. I should have hired someone else to do it or gave it to another VA. So I did have to shut down that store while I was away because in the Galapagos there was basically no internet. So I couldn't do it from there. So she ran that. So that store was on vacation mode. The other 2 were up and running while I was gone. So I'll make an update video on how that store recovers after being on vacation mode, and I'll release that in 2 or 3 weeks. I want to give it 2 or 3 weeks to really see if it picks up momentum again, if momentum slowed down because it was on vacation mode at some point. A lot of people say that as a rumor. I've never turned my store on vacation mode before, so I don't know. This is the first time I've ever done it. So we will see what happens with that store. If you guys don't want to miss that video, do make sure to subscribe to the channel as well. And we've reached the end of the hour here, so if you guys missed the live stream and have any questions, again, ask them underneath any of my videos. You saw I took screenshots of them, I put them up here, I answer them for you, so make sure to leave your questions underneath any of these videos. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, and please give this video a thumbs up. This gets this video, if you give the video a thumbs up, it helps the YouTube algorithm. It gets this video out in front of more people and helps them out answering a lot of the same questions, or helping answer the same questions that you guys asked here today. So guys, thanks so much for watching. Thanks everyone for the super chats. Really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.